Hey, what's up everyone? This is Zeno here, and today I'm going to show a build that I've wanted to try since beta. So first things first, this is going to be a Null's Inclination Animate Weapon SRS build. As a disclaimer, this build is not mine. I did not create this build first. GGG did. The inspiration was originally from my bro, Uber Elite. That's why my character name is Zeno Wannabe Uber. So credit where credit's due. I put my own twist on it. In beta, there was a lot of differences versus live if you saw him play this build in beta, so I'm going to explain the differences, and I'm also going to explain the skill tree, and then we're going to rock it out. So to kick things off, I tried to get a 5 link and I ended up with a 6. Normally in this, you would put Multi-Strike, Summon Raging Spirit, Animate Weapon, Melee Splash, and Minion Damage, and then the last link, the 5 link with the extra socket, would be Flesh Offering. Now in beta, you would use Flesh Offering in this bow because anytime you kill something with your main setup, which is my split arrow, you cast whatever is in this bow. So that means only cast, no blink arrows, no mirror arrows. But in beta, there was a gem called jewel called Cannibalistic Habits, which gave you 4% of your health back every time you popped a corpse. Unfortunately, it no longer exists, so instead I went with minion speed. And the reason I went with minion speed is the move speed of your minions is really important. Running around with haste, Val haste, this, Flesh Offering, they go insanely fast. And with this recent buff, which it didn't exist till the end of beta, then it also grants attack speed. The only thing, well, there's other things you could put in here, but melee physical would be an okay gem. It would buff your SRS, it would kind of buff your animate weapons. But because I have to use elemental damage here to cause my bow to kill things, because I'm running a split arrow setup, elemental damage scales best with animate weapon because of its base 244% damage effectiveness I have right now. I think it might be like 250 at level 20. And this is only a 70% added damage. So melee fizz would be okay. Wed would be good for these, but doesn't work for SRS. Faster attacks would also be good. There could be a lot of other gems, but I think the current setup I have right now, I'm pretty happy with minion speed's performance. You could get maybe a little bit more damage, but they'll be slower using melee fizz or Wed. What else do I have going here? I'm running 3 auras, Haste, Wrath, and Anger. These are boosting my DPS as well as my minions. But because I'm an attack-based summoner, I can't use EE, so EE is out of the question. A lot of caster-based summoners are a little bit different. In this case, if I was caster, I would be using Ice Spear, but it's whenever I kill with this bow, I summon things. So I'm using an attack to do so. So with that said, let's take a look at my skill tree here. This is a really weird setup. I played a Scion just because she's the most efficient at this. I end up getting 5 jewels out of the tree, and for leveling purposes, I leveled with the Storm Cloud until level 60, until I put on Null's Inclination. And I went over to the Shadow here and got all of these proj, attack speed, life nodes. I'm used Static Electricity. I'm still using it. Once you put in this with the Storm Cloud, you just cruise through leveling. Static Electricity gives you 1 to 92 lightning damage in this spot because you get +1 max lightning for every 10 dex. I don't think Uber Elite used this in beta, but it really helps boost my damage a little bit more, which means I don't have to wear a Herald. Not wearing a Herald allows me to wear Haste, which is good for my minions and me. I have every single mana reservation wheel on the tree, with the exception of Influence, and down here in Baghdad, Champion of the Cause. I have seen some people playing Nulls coming up here, getting Influence, and then running ES gain on hit with Eldritch Battery. I think that's okay, but the way we have it set up right now, I think is mint. I have estimated 220% life in this tree. 192 through just life nodes, and then 27% or 28% through jewels. I got all the skill effect durations and all those doodads, things like that. I am running on Blood Magic. I believe Uber ran on mana in beta because Cobalt Jewels were able to roll mana gained on hit, but now they can't. And mana gained on hit with minion damage, attack speed, and life, you're done, kind of thing like that. Unfortunately, mana gained on hit is in a Viridian Jewel. This is, my jewels right now aren't that amazing. This is okay for right now. This is just attack speed, not so good. I have to replace this one like now. This one's at least life and attack speed. And then over here we got Static Electricity, and then just double attack speed. So what jewels I'm aiming for is attack speed, just plain attack speed, life, and minion damage. At least those 3. That is a very costly jewel, but I think I can get a few. In beta, you didn't really pick up this wheel, but when they nerfed Null's Inclination, it used to give you 2% increased damage per 10 dex. Now it only gives you 1. So you have to make up for that with a little bit more with jewels and then nodes like this. Let's talk about where I'm headed. I'm currently 85. Level 90 will be these 3 and these 2, and we're pretty much done with the spec. What else? Any other things we got? Oh, I can show you my skill gems. We got Split Arrow, Culling Strike, Chain, Blood Magic, Wed, Faster Attacks. I just bought a cheap old corrupted Tabula Rasa, and this is what it was. I was like, hey, high life, 6 link, perfect colors, I'll take it. I actually don't care about evasion, ES, energy shield, armor, any of that crap. I'm just going straight up high life, minions tank all the damage. In this one, it's Increased Duration, Val Haste, Blood Magic, and Flesh Offering. Here we got Convocation, Blink Arrow, Rallying Cry, and Blood Magic. Rallying Cry will give you damage and your minions damage, so it's very important. Val Haste, I could pretty much keep up 100% of the time, and then Flesh Offering has a nice long duration too. These are the 3 buffs I juggle the entire time in a map, and I have to try and keep up 100% of the time. The last thing I got is my Alpha's Howl with my auras. Wrath, Anger, Haste, and Enlighten will go in here finally. Giving +2 to auras is huge for DPS, and there's no reason not to do it. Every single piece of my gear, with the exception of Nulls and Alphas, has very high life, and that's all I'm going for. Alright, let's take a look at a George map that I rolled. George is a pretty good map, and you guys love your yellow swag, George clears. This is the only thing really difficult on this is the monster damage and maybe the fact I don't have any regen, but that should be fine. I have 2 Seething Flasks. Let's cruise through this. I'm going to use 2 Itsubi pieces because who the hell does her anymore? And we'll see what my clear is. I haven't done a George yet map on this guy. I've done only 176, so let's see where I'm at. Now, the first thing I usually try to do, this is Ghastly of Ice, this isn't too bad. The first thing I usually try to do in these maps is drop a couple weapons, which I didn't do this go around. Drop like 2 or 3 to get myself going. And whenever I get a kill, holy crap. Whenever I get a kill, I spawn an SRS, and if there's a weapon on the ground, a white weapon, I'll pick up, it'll just automatically animate that weapon. Now, in B4, you lose your 6 link and 5 link weapons and all that crap. I don't really care. I mean, I really just don't care. Sorry to say, guys. I got enough jewelers and things like that as it is playing this league. And last league, I ended up putting 16 exalts into permanent hardcore. So, what's money if you're not spending it? It doesn't really matter to me that much. Jeez, that freaking damage. Alright, what do we got here? Ew, arena, real. Ooh, a canyon, that works. Let's keep going. Generally speaking, I try to open up chests whenever I'm fighting things because they usually spawn some sort of weapon in there, and then you're good to go. Oh, there we go. Map clear return. So, wow, we got really good maps already. We got a 76, 75, and 74 in this. Now, I'm running Culling Strike. I actually do piss off for damage. All I try to do is just buff my minions constantly, keep up the 3 buffs like I was talking about earlier, and go through the map. Oh, man. That monster damage, though. Flicker Strike has pretty high base damage, too. I should probably stand back. This is the most scares I've had on this entire character playing it. It is a high quantity map, so risk for reward. Maybe I should play a little bit smarter. Gambler. Now the problems with this build in terms of damage is usually like the high HP map bosses. Like there's no way this build will be able to kill like Duresso in a map. There's no way I could do Abyss in a map at all. It's just not going to happen. For the most part though, bosses just flop over when you have a huge horde like this. I have 42 anime weapons right now. This is a 100+ quantity map. Which is amazing for this build. It's just, you know, anything with a lot of HP, the minions will just run out of their duration and rip. You guys get where it goes from there. Like, I tried to do Graveyard Merveil twice. I just didn't have enough minions when I walked in there. I even brought in some weapons, and she just ice stormed them all down instantly, and I was like, well, there goes that. But, you know, like, when I fight Creighton and Coves, he just melts right over, so he probably will here, too. We'll see. Now, I do want to have upwards of 6.5k HP in-game. I am going to try and roll some of those jewels when I get out of here, or buy some of those minion damage life jewels I was talking about. Because I only have 1 life jewel at the moment. I actually have 2, but they're just attack speed. They're not minion damage. They don't really do too much for this build, other than give me a little bit of attack speed. Okay, that was a lot of freaking damage. Wasn't nearly as rippy as earlier with those flicker spiders. Oh, +1, +1. Oh, get over here, get over here. Rip minions. Oh, maybe they lived. Wow, +2 +1s out of that. Holy hell, this RNG. And a -2, or -1. Hell yes. This map, though. All I need to do is not die. Again, open up anything over there. I just animated like 3 weapons from that. Try and stay in their boxes. Open them up before you start killing things. Okay, spine bows, keepers of the trove. We'll come back for those once we're done with this map. But as you can see, you know, the clear is actually pretty damn high. And, you know, if you run it white, I could probably do this map in like 2.5, 3 minutes. Probably around there. I was flying through the 68 maps when I first started those. Freaking Legacy of Zeal, man. The hell out of here with that shit. Legacy of Zeal, so stupid, tanky. I don't know where the thing is. Oh, it's over there. There we go. Oh, there's another one. Alright, so here's the boss. No other minions to kill for my Val Haste? Real. And there you go. That's the clear of the map. It's pretty quick. It's a lot of fun. Had a couple near deaths there, a couple 30% health things from the Flicker Spider monster damage. And no life and mana regen, definitely you can notice that. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this spec. If you guys have any questions, there'll be a link to the build below, and I'll be making a guide on it. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, you know, if you liked it, you can always toss me a follow, subscribe, and you can check me on my live stream, twitch.tv/ZenocideGenius. Whoa! Whoa!